and welcome to episode number 54 of Girlstreamers. Girlstreamers is a podcast bringing you the girl streamers that you know and love. Girlstreamers is a community that supports and promotes girls that stream. We are a bi-weekly podcast and we'll be introducing you to some amazing girl gamers and allow you, the viewer, to get to know some of your favorite streamers. My name is Nymphadora, and I will be your host during this interview. And with me tonight, we are interviewing TheRarest. If there is time at the end, we will take questions from the audience in the channel. You can just type !podcast and fill out that Google form. This is a live podcast, but we will also be available for download on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and YouTube. What's up, what do you want me to call you? TheRarest?
You could just say Rarest, that's fine with me.
Alright, Rarest. Awesome.
I'm good. Having a good day. It's a good day.
Awesome. I don't know, I started playing the music there and I'm like, it's going and then it stops. It's going and then it stops. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, I don't understand. Also, I forgot to tweet it out. So while we're chatting, I'm gonna have to go tweet this out. I said it. Didn't I say I need to tweet this out? And I never did it.
Yeah.
I never did it.
I'm a mess too. Don't worry. We're all a mess here.
Like, I've been packing and moving stuff all day. That's my excuse. So
preach. I feel it. I just moved again. It has been a stressful time. Don't worry, I feel it.
Moved again. Okay, we were talking about, because you're not from the area you're in right now. You're from Southern California, which is where we are moving to at the moment. So, okay, then where are you at now?
I'm in the same area. The thing is that we moved from California into a apartment. Then stuff happened at the apartment. And then we moved into a house. So I have been in this house now for like two weeks, I think. Maybe.
Wow. So that is wow. So do you own the house or are you guys just renting?
We own. We tried finding a house to rent, but it has been... Houses out here go really, really fast, especially if you're renting. And also the prices, like, to rent a house, you might as well just buy one and pay a mortgage. So my family and I, we talked about it. We're like, screw this. We're just going to buy and pay a mortgage. It just makes so much more sense.
I know, like, we were trying to buy a house here, I mean, years ago, but I have student loans on my stuff, and I don't make money. Really? Like, I make money, but not enough to because I work for myself, so not enough to say, yeah, I'm a viable candidate. And the husband who makes money has, like, no credit, essentially, because he's kind of went into debt in California when they had, like, the hiring freeze and stuff. And, so, yeah, like, we could never buy a house, but we're paying more than my parents do for 7 acres and a mortgage for a 2-bedroom apartment. And I'm like, this is totally
no
fair.
Thanks, never mind. We're done.
It's totally fair.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where we were at, because we had like a really nice apartment. Like, my sister and I had our own and my parents had their own. And I think we were paying like maybe $1,500 for the apartment, which is nuts and crazy. For a 2-bedroom?
It is.
And we were like,
that's California prices for a 1-bedroom.
Yeah, for real. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, dear Lord. So we were like, screw this. And there was just a lot of, like, stupid stuff with our upstairs neighbors. Like, it was just a really unsafe situation. So we removed ourselves. Now we are somewhere very nice and very, very happy to be out and away.
We had an apartment that was like $666. And it was in the ghetto. Like, our neighbor was a drug dealer, and I saw him while we were sitting on our balcony one day shoot his gun off his balcony. Just randomly shot his gun off his balcony. I was like, All right.
Tap out, tap out, tap out. Never mind, we're done.
I mean, we were cool with the guy. Like, it's like, you stay in your section and keep your people there. We won't say anything because I don't want to get killed. And, you know, nice guy. I mean, drug dealers are nice guys. I mean, they're going to be nice as long as you don't mess with them. Right. So, I think we were probably the safest we could be because we were on good grounds with the drug dealer, right?
Oh, man, no. Like, my upstairs neighbors, that's what they did. They were drug dealers.
Yeah.
And there was two of them, and one decided to go and shoot a gun at a car driving by, and that car held the guy who came and torched that guy's car while we were gone. So we were like, well, and my sister was outside. So we were like, oh, nope, done. And like, we got out of there as fast as we could. Like, we were done by that point. And we had been complaining about these people since we got into the apartment, because they were loud, they were obnoxious, they were doing stuff that they weren't supposed to be doing, and the front office did nothing. So and we were just like, all right.
What's really funny is when we complained, you know what they told us? To call the cops. And we're like,
that's what they told us too.
He knows we were there. He knows we are the ones. Why would we do that? Why would we endanger ourselves because you don't want to step in and do your job?
Exactly. That was our thing too. And like, they refused to do anything, and we all were like, all right, well, we're leaving. Like, we're not staying. We're in the process of getting some stuff back from them, getting money back, because there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I have call logs of us calling. I mean, we are like, we're not going down without a fight kind of deal. Like, we're not that kind of family, so we're like, let's go. All right, let's go. We're ready.
Oh my God. Wow, that's nuts. That is crazy. So where are you at right now then, if you want? Do you mind sharing like where you're living now?
Right now I live in Knoxville, Tennessee. I lived in about an hour north of LA. So moving from an hour north of LA to Knoxville, Tennessee, where people are nice, people genuinely want to talk to you. You don't spend as much money. I don't feel like I have to go outside with like 15 cans of pepper spray on my person. Like, it's really nice. I love it here. It's so refreshing just to get away. Life is also slower out here too. So it's nice to breathe for just a little bit, especially because I'm used to that get up and go. Like, you get up, you go, you do what you got to do, and then peel out. Like,
that's and see, it's so funny because we were talking about this in the pre-show, and like, everybody, whenever they find out that we're going, oh, I just realized I am missing a light. Hold up. Like, wait, my lighting looks slightly dark. There we go. That's better. Yeah, when a lot of people are like, oh, you're going to California. Oh, God, don't. Like, of course, Californians are telling you not to move to California, which, I'm sorry, I just gotta call y'all out on this. I feel like you're trying to stop people from going because there's such a limited amount of space. You don't want to have to fight for any more space. Because in the film industry out there versus here in Atlanta, so different. You talk to people in the film industry in California, they won't say a damn word to you. They refuse to help you get a foot in the door out there. Yeah, here we're all like, yeah, honey, come on. Let's do this. We gonna work together. We gonna get this stuff going. And then we help each other out. And, like, we make the indie market. I mean, I'm gonna miss Atlanta. I'm gonna miss Georgia, but I'm excited for a new adventure because I've been here for 33 years, so
it's time.
I would like, because we don't necessarily know that we're gonna stay in California, but it's like, you know what, it's time to move to, and husband he's a California native, so we're essentially sort of moving back. But yeah, I just find it funny that every time, and it's usually the California natives who no longer live there, which is so funny to me.
Man. We get out, I'm telling you, like, people always sit there, like, every time I tell them I'm from California, they're like, oh, you must have lived by the beach, you must have gone to LA, like, every day.
People
I'm like, no,
so
you avoid LA. You avoid that.
Yeah,
because
you don't go to downtown
No.
And what's really funny, what I find, and I mean, I didn't know this until I actually went to California for the first time. LA, is not, like, actual downtown LA is not what people think it is. At all. And Hollywood Boulevard,
ugh,
just avoid it. It's so
gross.
gross.
Like, I tell people, like, after I would leave, I would feel like I had to take a shower.
Yes!
After I was done, I was like, this is so gross. And, like, we would go down there a lot. Like, because I'm a theater major in college. I'm double majoring, and like, theater's my thing. And my aunt would buy tickets for us to go to the Pantages, which is like this huge theater down there. They have all of, like, the big musicals and stuff. I've seen Wicked. I've seen the Phantom of the Opera. I've seen everything. But oh my god, getting down there. Number one, finding parking is a pain in the butt because you're gonna pay $25 for really, really good parking. Then you not only have to do that, then you have to walk down the street, which like, you don't think is that big of a deal, but if you have to cross anywhere, you're taking your life in your hands. People do not pay attention at all. They're ready to hit you. They're like, you are a fly on my windshield. Like, I just want to splat you. Like, because people are just so impatient.
Yeah.
And, like, people are honking. They want to hit you. You're just sitting there and you're like, I don't want to be here right now. I'm here because this is kind of like where everything is. Like, give and take here, buddy. Like,
I mean, I both loved it and hated it. I was like, oh my god, this is so great. It is so cheesy. This is so bad. It's not. I didn't hate it. I'm just like, oh, this is awful, but this is hilarious at the same time. Like, this is so great. But I appreciate it. It's great in its badness, I guess.
See, that's how I feel. Like, I love it here, but, like, California will always be home to me.
Right.
Like, I went back recently for summer, and I went back to, like, see my friends and whatnot, and we went, and I was like, oh man, I miss this, and I miss this, and I miss going and doing all these things. But then I come back here, and I'm like, thank God I don't live there, because now that I don't live there, like, I can actually see the good sides of California.
Right, exactly.
And not just, like, living there where you're constantly surrounded by all of the craziness. You're surrounded by
negativity.
Yeah. California, like, here's the thing is, like, my mental health, like, declined so bad when I went there to visit. And I, like, you don't realize those kind of things until you go back home. And, like, it just, like, I was thrown back to being in middle school, and, like, everybody knew everyone knows my family. Everybody knows my mom's side of the family out there, because we've lived there for a while. And, you know, it really gets to you because you're sitting there and that's all, like, you're thinking is, like, oh my gosh, everybody knows who I am. Everybody knows these things. And, like, it's so busy here. It's hot. Everyone sucks. You know?
Well, what's funny is you get that in small towns too. And I feel like it's worse when it's a smaller town because it's the I don't know. I have my issues with southern towns. Like, my home will always be rural Georgia, but I do prefer city environments. Like, I love going back, just like you, I love going back to visit my parents. I'm like, oh yeah, I appreciate the beauty of this. And my dad's like, you need to get out of that Atlanta traffic, honey. We got an acre for you to build a house. That's really not how my dad sounds. And I'm like, Dad, I love you. But I would go insane because of my job. It requires me to have good internet. And you don't.
Nowhere, Dad.
You live, seriously, they live 5 miles from the city center of their city. And they can't get cable. They have DSL still. It's bullshit.
That's my dad's hometown. My dad's from a small town at, like, the very tip of Tennessee, and like we go there to visit, and it is a street going this way, street going that way, and some houses on the side. You blink and that thing's gone. I like say where it is, and people are like, and I'm like, by Johnson City. They're like, oh, we know Johnson City. I'm like, yeah, that's like 25 minutes away, but okay, yeah, he basically was there. Like, but that's the exact same thing there. Like, we go there, everybody knows who my dad is, and
Yeah.
like I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that super small town feel. I mean, that's kind of how like my hometown is. It's like small town feel, but it's about the size of Knoxville, actually. Now that I think about it, I think the size, I think Knoxville maybe have like a couple hundred people more, but it's I don't know how to explain it. Like,
yeah.
It's a big city but small town feel kind of a deal.
Yeah.
And especially if you go to the Christian schools out there, which I did, and we would go out there and everybody knows everybody knows everyone's parents. You know, you're friends with people on Facebook, and like you mention one name of like, oh, this person, you know, had a kid, and everyone's like, oh yeah, we know. It's like, oh my god, like, oh, okay, great. Like, glad you know. But yeah, no, like I feel that. Like my aunt actually wanted us to move out to where my dad is from, and I was like, no.
See,
ma'am.
I like the cities where they're big, but you can still have that small town feel if you so choose, or you can be anonymous. And to me, that's Atlanta, because Atlanta's huge. And I know you said you're like, gross. I totally get the grossness of Atlanta as far as traffic, because it is exactly like LA in the 70s. And
yeah.
I will say the CEO of MARTA, which is the transportation here, is doing his hardest. The new CEO is working so hard to expand, you know, the public transportation, because he's not stupid. He is fully aware what it's going to be, especially with so many big Hollywood films coming out here. So you've got that work, that influx coming in. I mean, it is one of the... I'm a minority in Atlanta, and I don't mean ethnically. I mean, actually, ethnically, I am a minority in Atlanta, because it is, there are more African Americans per capita in the city of Atlanta, but, no, I'm a minority in the way of being homegrown.
Yeah.
Everyone in this city is a transplant. Literally everyone. So the reason why traffic is bad, because none of y'all fools know how to drive here.
True. True. Oh, no, no truer words have been spoken.
Because people drive differently in various states. So you can't take, like, your drive. Like, I refuse to drive in California. I refuse to drive in California because I don't understand how the people out there drive. So when we move out there, we're moving out there with one car, and I'm like, honey, get me a moped, and I'll be fine.
Just Uber everywhere. That's what everyone else does. Just Uber.
Like if we live close enough, I'll just walk everywhere or ride a bicycle. Like, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need a bike.
Oh my god. Don't do it. You're taking your life in your hands. Don't do it. Oh my god. That's awful. No, like, here's the thing is, and I always tell people, like, look, being out here, like, everybody has a car, everyone does things, like, it's super cool. Out where I'm from, like, you know, like you're saying, like, LA, you go out there and like, I see people on, like, motorcycles and all that, and I'm like, how? How? Like, I am terrified in a car, like, where I am protected by, like, you know, by everything. You're not protected. If you get hit, you're screwed. Like, you're done. Like, and that's the thing, like, terrifies me. But here's the thing that I've learned is that if you can drive out in California, you can drive anywhere. Like, I've learned, like, driving out in California and coming here, like, I can drive out here because I'm like, okay, I can survive the craziness, which is LA. I can survive that. I can survive pretty much anywhere else. So that's at least what I think.
I would generally agree with that statement. Although, granted, my husband turns out he had cataracts, so I think that was part of his problem, where he just couldn't drive at night because it gets really dark in the country. So,
and there's no street lamps.
He can't. I drive at night here. Plus, my eyes are attuned to being able to see the deer. Like, he never sees the deer. Ever.
Oh, I don't.
And I'm like, there's 3 deer over there. You may want to slow down, babe. He's like, what? I'm like, they're right there. And he's like stopping, looking on the side of the road. I'm like, honey, it's right there in front of you.
No, see, that's the, oh my god, I remember one time, I think I was driving, where was I? I was driving to my apartment. I had just gotten out of class and I was talking to my best friend on the phone. And I'm talking to her, and she has lived everywhere, but right now she lives in Idaho. And I was just on the phone with her, and like all of a sudden I'm like, there's a possum on the road, and she starts laughing at me. And I'm like, what? She's like, have you never seen a possum? She's like, oh, I forget. Those things don't exist out in California. I'm like, no, I'm not used to seeing random things on the side of the road. I'm used to seeing like a coyote, maybe.
That's like me with the standing man cacti in New Mexico. I'd never seen one, and I flipped out when we were bringing his stuff from storage here. I flipped out. I'm like, stop! I want to get a picture. Stop! I've never seen that.
Oh my god, no! The funniest thing is, like, out where I live, we have these things, Joshua trees, right?
Oh yeah,
and Joshua trees they're rare. Like, you can't really. They're out in the Mojave, and then they're in like I think like Africa, or I can't remember specifically. There was like this whole big thing about it, and like it's illegal to cut them down where I'm from. I think they're the most hideous things on the face of the planet. I think they're so ugly. But my friends,
they're all over that desert, though. They're all over it. And I'm like, what kind of what is that? Is that a cactus? And he's like, no, it's a Joshua tree. I'm like, good lord, that's all that's out here.
That's all we have. And that's the funny thing. Like, my friend's teacher's from Canada, and she was driving down, and she was looking out, and she said that when she came, she would get out of her car and take pictures with them because she thought they were so cool. But then she's like, this is when they used to use disposable cameras.
Oh yeah.
She turned it in and got all the pictures back, and she goes, I was making my album. And it's pages of what looks to be almost the exact same Joshua tree, just over and over again. I was like, my god, that's pretty much how it is. Like, you see one Joshua tree, you've seen them all. Like, take your picture, go. They're not that big of a deal anymore.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, so we are 30 minutes into this podcast, and you've only answered 2 questions. So
fantastic. We're on a roll.
I love it. This is a great conversation. So, what is the first game that got you into the gaming world?
BioShock, actually.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I didn't here's a story. I didn't get into gaming until my sophomore year of high school. I am a senior technically in college right now. So I haven't been into gaming for like ever. I would play like Assassin's Creed and whatnot, like on PlayStation 3, but I never like finished it. I thought it was like the most boring thing ever. Little did I know how right I was. But my best friend ever,
it's okay, Miss Adventure, don't listen to her.
Oh no. Well, hey, I like Connor.
I mean,
like him and a couple
you know
of
what?
them.
Everybody likes their own games. It's okay.
I like some of the Assassin's games. Like, don't hang me. I like some of them, but I have such a strong opinion about them because I've played through all of them. I purchased them, played through all of them. So
hey, look, you've at least tried them, and you just didn't like them. It's not like you formed your opinion based off of just 2 seconds.
What other people says. Right. No.
So but, you good.
My best friend ever got me into BioShock. He was talking about it at lunch one day, and he was like, Kelsey, you need to play this game. Like, I know you're not really into games, but you need to play this game. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, it sounds really interesting. The next day he brought the game to me and just shoved it at me and goes, go play it. So I was like, all right, fine.
I love those friends so much.
Oh yeah. Like he's my ride or die. Like, I've known him since kindergarten. I was at his wedding. He's
That's
like
awesome.
my ride or die homie. Like,
it's like, play this now, or watch this now. Like, sit down and watch this with me. Sit down and play this with me right now. You have to.
I know. And little did he know the monster that he would have created. Because I didn't even get halfway through that game until I went and bought the second one. Like, I wasn't even, and I went out and purchased the second one, and I finished it, and then I played through the second one, and I was like, I love this so much. Like, it is my game. I know everything there is to know about it. I know everything about Ken Levine. I know about his crazy midlife crisis he went through. I have, like, over there, I have all of my, like, figures. My best friend that I was talking about, his name's Zach. For my graduation present, he made me the doll that the little sisters have of the Big Daddy.
Nice.
So he made that for me, and I have it over there. Like, it is my game. And if anybody wants to, like, chit chat about it, I'll go on for days about it, because it is so good. And every time I play it, like, the one thing that makes a game, like, replayable is if you can play it. Like, I've been playing it now for years, and I can keep replaying that game, and I'll find something new about it that I've never seen before.
Yeah, that's how I feel about, like, Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, yeah.
I replay that game all the time, and I always find something different in that game. Always.
Right. I love that game too. That's a good game.
I know they're old games, but I have not played them yet, but they are on my wish list. But Dragon Con is next weekend, which Girlstreamers will be at Dragon Con. I will be there. Anyway, if you're going to be at Dragon Con, you too can meet me, because I'm awesome, right?
Anyway. She's great.
So, yeah, it's on, there's always, you know, so many good cosplays. One of hands down every year, I'm sure it's the same guy, Big Daddy cosplay every year.
Oh yeah,
amazing. Yep. So good.
That was
so good.
One of my first cosplays was from BioShock 2. Actually, I have a little sister, funny enough, and I was like, hey, you're gonna be the little sister and I'm gonna be the splicer. So I made the little sister needle. I made meat hooks that they have in the game for the splicers. I did my makeup. Awesome. I'm a makeup artist too. That's one of the things I do on the side. So I made a mask out of the makeup. And I had it all cracked and whatnot. And I found this old dress from Goodwill, and we made everything from Goodwill and all of that. And
that's awesome.
It was great. Like, it was honestly one of the best things I think I've ever done. And then from there, you know, we did Fallout, and then I did other things too. Like, it was like, it's my game. So I can go on for days about it. It's my game.
So how long have you been streaming then? And what got you into streaming?
I've been streaming now a year and a half. I think a year. I think I've been streaming for a year. No. I'm sorry, it's 2 years. Actually, this month. It would be 2 years this month.
Nice.
I forgot. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking, like, maybe it's been a year, but I forgot.
That was me last year. I was like, I'm not... When did I start? Yeah. I don't know. Now I remember my date.
When did I go back? And I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, it was about... It might have been a year ago. I don't know. It's been about, we'll just say a year and a half. Just to be safe. And what got me into it is there's a streamer out there who I've been watching forever, and her name's Fuya, and she was a part of a big team called Team Caliber. If you watch Call of Duty or competitive gaming, you guys would know.
Team Caliber. All right. I know now. That sounds familiar now. Like,
yeah, TK Caliber is like that. That's my game. I don't watch Call of Duty, but for them, I would. Like, I love them. I just love them as people too. And they're in Atlanta right now. Like, that's where they're based. And my dream is to go meet them. But I watched her stream, and I had been thinking about it for a while. And with some encouragement from some really good friends of mine, I was like, you know what? Let's see how this goes. So I started streaming. I mean, I streamed through my PS4, so I started with a really crappy mic and like a really crappy mic.
Sorry, I just had to yell at my dog to shut up.
You're fine. I yell at my dog too, don't worry. And like my what is it? My PS4 camera.
Oh yeah.
That, and like the crappy mic through there, and that's what I was using. Because that is, and I mean, and I used that up until, like, for a while, actually. I was using that, I think it was like a couple months ago. I got a new mic. So
I mean, you gotta use what you can use, man. You gotta use the best thing. So what's your most memorable moment then, since you've been streaming?
Probably when I became affiliate. I'm not gonna lie, because like I worked so hard for it. Because here's the bad thing that happened. Like my path to becoming an affiliate was all kinds of messed up. I had more than the 50 that was required. I think at the time I had like 90. I had like 90 followers at the time. You know, I was streaming consistently for 4 days. And I had about 5 to 16 viewers depending on what I was streaming consistently. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm ready. And they wouldn't give it to me. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And so I was talking to people, trying to figure out, and I had to like fight for it. And the moment I got my email that told me that I was an affiliate, I was at work and I burst into tears because I had worked so hard for it. And
I wonder why it took so long for it to register.
I don't know.
So weird.
I like emailed Twitch. I was trying to like talk to them about it, and they're like, "Well, it's an automated system." I'm like, "Okay, that sucks," because
that's
like,
not a good enough answer because it's not always an automated system's not always going to get it. You need to have a person running that. I'm sorry.
Exactly. And they had said, you know, like, "Oh, well, it's an automated system. There's not much that we can do about it." And I was like, "Well, there should be something you should do about it because I have all the stats. I have everything. I've had consistency. You know." Give me what I've worked really, really hard for.
Right?
Like, because I mean, I like the thing.
It's not gonna hurt you guys. You're gonna make money off of this.
Right? Exactly. I was like, you guys are gonna be getting half of my. Like, come on. And I like it. And I never thought that I would get there too. Like, I never thought that I would become an affiliate. I never thought that I would have. And I think I have 99 followers right now. I never thought I would get there. Because I was like, nobody's gonna want to sit here and watch some dumb white girl stream, like a girl who wasn't really into streaming for like, you know, wasn't really into gaming for a long time. You know, I just never thought that, and I finally got it, and I was like, you know what, like, thank God I got that. Thank God I did everything I could to get it, and now it just I want to.
I know it's simple, and it's not, you know, it's way easier than partner, which is, you know, the whole point of it. But there's some kind of like validation. You know, you feel legit when you reach that goal, and I think it's a cool goal, and I actually like the affiliate program that they rolled out because, yes, it does benefit them immensely and gets them a lot of money, but it also benefits those people who are, you know, are the smaller streamers and, you know, not necessarily. It's essentially a part-time job, right? So most people don't go saying, yeah, I'm gonna go be the next ninja, right? Like, nope.
Right.
We're fully aware it takes a while, and the only reason why Ninja is so big is because he was an eSports player.
Right.
Like, come on.
Right. Well, and, you know, I think what's nice about Twitch having the affiliate program is it's not like other platforms where it kind of feels like I have to work really, really hard to even get acknowledged. Like, I have to be partner.
Like on YouTube.
In order for Twitch to look at me. Yeah, YouTube is very much that way, where even if you get 1 million subs, you have to work to get 15 million before they can even, you know, look at you, you know, 6 million. And
the
it's like,
way they do their monetization, and they just changed it all, is so weird to me. It doesn't make sense, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of how their systems are worked out, especially since, you know, all of the huge controversial stuff that is come out come out of YouTube and stuff. And it's like, to me, I feel like it's good that it's happening because it is, it's causing people to go and look at YouTube and say, why is this stuff still happening? Oh, exactly. It's because you don't actually have teams dedicated to doing this. Because that's the problem. That's the problem. I mean, that's a little bit of the problem with Twitch as well. Like, they don't actually have teams devoted to this kind of stuff. They have them for partners. And they have a small team. And I think Amazon is trying to get them to develop a little bit more. But I, personally, when you have platforms like this and you want to encourage the streaming and the uploading and the content creation, you cannot be on a skeleton crew. You have to have a massive amount of people to run that. And Google should know better with YouTube.
Yes.
The almighty Google should know way better.
Oh yeah, and like that's the thing is I feel like especially for small streamers, like we work so hard. I like is this is gonna sound really dumb, but it's kind of true. We work harder than a lot of other bigger streamers because the bigger streamers they don't have to worry about having to bring people in, you know, they don't have to worry about building a fan base because they've already, you know, they did the work.
They're
Now
established, they can relax a little bit. I mean, they still work hard, but it's not quite as stressful because they do still have that consistent film. Yeah, totally. It's almost like it's a different kind of stress.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing is that, you know, we work hard and we want credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Give us credit where credit is due. I'm not saying make me partner because I have, 99 phones. No, like make me partner when I've reached your standards.
Yeah.
However, when I reach those standards, give it to me. Don't sit here and like twiddle your thumbs and be like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, you know what to do. You just need to do it. Like, it's the thing that just irritates me. It irritates me so much because I feel really bad for small streamers too. So it's a mess.
So what type of games other than BioShock do you like to play and stream?
I like Overwatch, honestly. And
I mean, I see the Diva shirt. Did you see the new? Did you see the new thing?
Oh yes,
it's like, really good.
I was up. I got the notification. I watched it. I was like so ready because she's just my girl. I love her and Widow. Like them two, I feel like have the most interesting story out of everybody. I'm so like enamored by both of them. Two completely different people, but and two especially different skill sets you have to play those people.
Oh, but God, I can't do Widowmaker. I'm garbage.
I can play Diva. Better. Oh yeah, Diva. I feel like Diva. Anybody can play Diva, honestly, but it's kind of like if you can play but well.
Yeah,
if you can play her well is the thing. I am good at Diva, and I am okay with Widow. I'm trying to get better, but Overwatch is the main thing I stream. I like historical games. That's one thing I am like so down for. Like I really liked Assassin's Creed Origins. And the reason why is. I am a history buff.
Me too.
You probably can't even tell, but up there I have like all of my history books. Like I was a history major in college actually before I switched to psychology and theater. And
those two go hand in hand actually very well.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes they do. But I got like I'm so interested, especially in ancient cultures. Like my knowledge of history is and so I really liked that game, and I was streaming it, and I called it History Time with Kelsey because I would sit there and I would have like my Cleopatra books on one side, and I would have the bust that I have of Nefertiti, and I would just like we would be playing through it. And Cleopatra is like one of the things that like really got me into ancient Egypt too. And I was talking about how like they got everything wrong in the game about her, and like I mean I was just talking about everything, and it was so cool for me to step into that game and see what I have been in love with for so long and see it come to life.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I was really happy with, because once I heard that they were doing Ancient Egypt, I was like, oh god, Ubisoft is gonna butcher it. It's gonna make me really sad. We're gonna have another, what is that movie called? It has like Gerard Butler and it's like Egyptian gods or something like that. Like,
are you talking about 300?
No, he did like a Ancient Egypt movie.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
I never saw it, but I know which one you're talking about. I was like, that looks bad.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And like I was like, I don't want that to happen. But when I saw that they took 2 years to make the game, I was like, good job, Ubisoft. You did something right for the first time in years.
Gods of Egypt. Thank you, Shiloh Savage. Gods of Egypt was the name of it.
Oh, yeah. Gods of... that movie was a mess. It was a mess. And so I was just watching... I was watching this game, I was playing it, and I was like super enamored, and I got really into it. So that's something that I stream a lot. Dark Souls, because I have a death wish. Bloodborne is also my game. If anybody wants to go into it with me, let's talk. Bloodborne is my thing. I cosplayed as a hunter. I made everything to be a hunter. Bloodborne is that's actually my main symbol, actually, as the rarest is me with like diamonds in the back with
your little logo,
a little
and
miniature.
everything.
Yeah,
nice.
Has like a little miniature of me being a hunter, and I was like living my dreams.
So what do you like about because you said Overwatch is probably your main game? What is it that attracts you about that game? What keeps you coming back to that particular game? The others are very story-based games, so I can kind of see that being the pull there. But Overwatch, not the same at all. Although the lore for Overwatch is fabulous, but you can get that without playing the game. So what keeps you drawn? I love Overwatch personally.
I love the competitive side of it. Like I'm in the eSports club for my college, and I compete against people doing Overwatch, playing on my PS4 because everyone normally plays like PC. But I found a group of people that do PlayStation. I was like, right on. So, I play against people. I do. I like in my spare time, like I'll have my best friend on the phone and I'll be talking to her, and then I'll be playing Overwatch while I'm talking to her. Like it's one of those games that I feel like I can excel at, and I can't explain it. Like I
love the competitive aspect of Overwatch. I think Blizzard did such a good job bringing the competitive stuff with Overwatch.
And I like the characters too.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Like I usually play DPS, but in other games, but in Overwatch, I find that I actually do better with support and a couple of the tanks. Like Diva is one I have gotten really, really good at lately with her changes and stuff. I'm like, oh man, somehow I connected with her, and then Roadhog, I'm pretty. I used to be really good, but they made changes, so I got to readjust with him. But Lucio and Moira, those are my bae.
Moira, I find Moira is hard for me to play. Like sometimes I'll just play mystery heroes. That's another thing about Overwatch that I really like. They have that arcade section.
Oh, I love it. It's so fun.
I never would like go and click on it. I'd always be like, no, I'm just gonna do free play. But then like once I discovered it, I was like, oh my god. Like, so I'll play mystery heroes because I like to kind of I like to be familiar with all of the characters.
I think you should be. Yeah, definitely.
Right. And so I'll play it, but the instant I get Moira, I'm like, no, okay, let's send this out over here. And then, like, I think it's gonna go the direction I want, but then it bounces and it goes somewhere else. I'm like, okay, that's not where I wanted that to go. And then, like, I freak out, and I'm like, oh my god. I really like Brigitte. She's another, like, my top
three. See, I have that reaction with Brigitte because I'm like, what? How is this supposed to be? Like, I don't get it. The shield bash. Like, when do I do the shield bash? Like, it's her mechanics. Like, the concept behind Brigitte makes so much sense, and it's great. It's the mechanics do not work with my particular play style, and I cannot make it work. I can't. And I love
Brigitte.
I love that about all of the different characters, though. Depending on what your play style is, there is a character and their mechanics that will work for you.
And you can also find stuff that's going to challenge you, too.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking for a challenge, you can find that. Like, Widow for me, like, dear Lord, I cannot snipe. But once I started to play Widow and get used to her mechanics and all that, now I can snipe okay. Like, I'm slowly getting better. I think
you have to learn how to predict, like, the movements and stuff. And I'm not good at that. I'm too slow on that reaction. That's why I'm better at playing support in that regard. Because I'm like, okay, all right, I can see that person needs health. Let me go give that person. But I love Moira because she does so much damage as well. I feel she's a really well-balanced character.
She is. I feel like the problem with Moira, though, is if you have I feel like if you have a really good Moira, you're gonna win. If you have a crappy Moira, you're gonna lose. Like, it's kind of that way. What I like about Overwatch too is that most of the games are pretty balanced, because people, like you were saying, like everyone has their own type of play style, and you need to play that way in order to win the match. Even if you lose, you can at least be able, okay, you know what, I lost, but I did good in these areas. Like, I'll get heated, but I'll set the controller down. I'm like, okay, that's enough for today. But then I'll go back, and I keep going back, because it has that thing where it's like, you know what, I need to do better. I'm gonna do better this time.
It's a game that easily brings out the salt in me, but every time I play it, I can tell that I am doing a little bit better.
Oh yes.
And you know what, I don't know, maybe it's just the time of day that I play it, but I haven't experienced as much toxicity as other people. I've actually had an IQ up. Now, competitive, yes, I've experienced some toxicity in competitive when I'm going in solo, but like quick play and arcade, like, there, you know, of course, there's always the occasional douche nozzle that's like, you need to switch, da-da-da-da, and I'm like, it's just quick play. I'm just learning the new character. And that's how I, like, look at quick play. Like, quick play is where you learn how to play a character.
Yeah. I do that with the training bot matches. Like, if I'm playing, especially if I am playing Widow, that's how I've actually gotten better at playing her, because the bots are usually pretty predictable, but what's nice is that I can see something that's predictable and kind of be able to follow them. I know that if I can snipe something that's predictable, I can then work on doing stuff that's unpredictable.
Yeah.
So I can go in and, you know, I do a couple of matches doing against bots, and then I go into quick play and I'm like, okay, I'm warming up that way. And I'll switch off between doing Diva and Widow, and then I'll go into playing Brigida. And then I come back and I'm like, all right, let's do competitive. And then most of the time I do great. So it's all about practice and having patience in order to do it. So it's taught me patience so far, is the main thing that I've learned.
Nice. Sorry, I was just responding to people in chat. So, are there any games that I love that you love Overwatch as much as me. And I love that I am so excited that eSports is getting into mainstream. I've never really been into eSports until Overwatch came out. And I don't get to watch the league like I would like to, just because of work and stuff and the timing. But it is something I will occasionally turn on, and I learn a lot by watching those tournaments, because I'm like, oh, that's actually, like, I learned how to be a better Lucio watching streams of professional players. Like, oh, that's an interesting way to play Lucio. I'm gonna have to try that or that. Yeah. And I feel like Blizzard's, how Blizzard and Activision, of course, because they're over Blizzard, but how they're going about the process of doing it and legitimizing esports is so smart, in my opinion.
And what's nice about it is that it's bringing it to, it's not just Call of Duty. Like, that's the thing that I find that's really nice, is that you can watch esports, and the instant I say esports, people are like, oh, Call of Duty. And I'm like, no, there's actually a bunch of other things. There's League of Legends, there's...
See, I think League of Legends when I think
some
esports.
People think of League. Yeah, some people do think of League. Like, my sister's fiance is all into League.
Call of Duty and League are definitely the ones that had the esports corner for a long time.
Long time, yeah.
They're also two of the most toxic communities to be a part of.
True.
And I do not play MOBAs because of League. I used to play HOTS, but I got bored with it. Maybe someday I'll go back to it. But
see, I like League. I like League because I can kind of just be in my own space. Like, I don't like playing League by myself. I like playing League with friends. Like, my best friend. Like, I was telling you, like, my best friend, he's the one who got me into League, too. He was like, hey, you should play this character called Jinx. And I was like, eh. And then I played her, and I was like, I love her. I have her as a pop over there. I have me as Jinx now. Like, it's all because of him. And so, League is great, but yeah, no, like I think that that's the same thing, is that, you know, once esports comes up and is now becoming a little more mainstream and all that, we'll start seeing females be more represented in the esports community. That's what I'm all about and all for, and hoping that slowly becomes more of a mainstream thing, where instead of just watching gentlemen play, that there will be a little more interest in the female league. To get into that.
Yeah. I was super excited when Shanghai Dragons, although they don't play her as much as they should, they added, you know, the first female, which I love, because there's no reason why there should be gendered esports. Like, I get why, like, baseball, football, that kind of stuff is separate, because the physical differences, especially in football,
especially football. Yeah.
The average girl's gonna get hurt. She's gonna get hurt, like, real fast. So I understand. But esports, you're sitting at a computer. That's no reason why you all can't do that together.
Right. And it's, you know what the funny thing is that in my esports community, we talked about that too. Because we were like, because especially once once the Overwatch League is what I mean, is when they announced like their whole roster. And I was like, there is not one female.
I know, I had that same reaction.
Females play the game. Like, I think the demographic is, I think it's like 40% of females actually play the game. And there's only like a small difference between them.
So I think Overwatch is a very close 50-50, as is Fortnite. Very close 50-50.
Mm-hmm. And then here's the thing, is that I feel like it's because people, it's going to sound kind of dumb, but it's what I think personally, is people think, oh, well, girls aren't interested in that, or no girl can be
such an old trope, such an old stereotype. Trope that isn't even real. It's not even an accurate one. You know, some stereotypes exist because they exist for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know why that one exists, because it's not accurate in the least bit.
I feel that on a whole spiritual level. I feel that. I resonate with that, because that is my whole struggle with it. Is I'm like, y'all don't get it, dude. If you don't even pay attention to your own statistics, like especially when it came out. Like, I was actually talking about it with some girls and I was like, can we talk about this for a second? Am I the only one that's here? And everyone else was like, no, we were thinking the exact same thing. Why is there not a female represented? And then Shanghai put her on there, and I was like, good job. You did it. But that's because people sat there and were hounding you about getting a female. Then you announce, hey, we got a female.
And the thing is, she is good, but their excuse is she needs to work more and get a little bit better before they'll play her more. And I'm thinking, and to that I'm thinking, then why did you get her if she's not ready yet? Like,
that's the thing.
I know there's gotta be girls who are at that level. I know there are. Like, we have some of them in Girlstreamers. Like, I know.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing, is that, you know, actually, I talked about this on my stream too, because I was talking about it because I was heated. I was playing Overwatch and I was heated. And so I was talking about it, and I was like, the thing is, people always want to sit there and go, oh, well, there's not enough females that are interested in doing competitive play. There's not really good females that are interested in competitive play. I'm like, give me just a second. Let me just pull up my roster of people who are clearly on that level. But the problem is, and this is going to sound really, really kind of not great, but it's true, is it's all about who's going to bring people in to watch the league.
Oh, yeah.
Who's going to get people to purchase things? You know, who's going...
It's all based off of money. It's all based off of money. Who is giving you the money to make these teams up, and who is buying the product that these teams are selling? It is. Exactly. It totally is. I mean, personally, I would love to have, like, an actual Girlstreamers eSports team, like
Yes.
in different. Wouldn't that be dope? Oh my god,
That'd be so good.
our logo would look so good on a jersey. It would look so good on a jersey. Oh my god.
Need that. Make it a reality.
If
Please.
there are any people who want to invest in an esports team, just talk to Dead Mannequin. She'll help you out there. She's our CEO.
Yes. Get on this. We need it. Because the thing is, even if we just do it for fun, you know, it's just a way to get girls into gaming and get girls into feeling okay with being gamers
and being okay with being competitive.
Oh yeah,
like there's so many people. Like I used to play softball. Like that. I miss being competitive, and I did a tournament, a game tournament for the first time ever in my entire life. PUBG. It was that broadcaster royale where you had to stream it and everything. Oh my god, I miss being competitive. I was shit at the game, like, but I had so much fun.
Right.
So much fun. I'm like,
that's the thing. It's all about having fun, guys. Even if you don't win, you still have fun competing against people. Because here's the thing: is nothing brings people closer together than competition.
I agree. I agree.
You know, I have met some.
It's
really
that thrill. You get that.
Because everybody has the same obsessions. Everybody has the same things that they love. And you might not agree on certain things about the game or whatever, but you learn from people. And you're able to be like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I want to play. You want to play too? All right, homie, let's go. Like, we'll go against each other. Or even if we don't go against each other, we'll be on the same team. We'll be, you know, we won't do very well, but it'll be fun. We'll have fun. You know, that's the whole
thing.
And
but you play on PlayStation. You don't play on PC.
I have a computer. I have a potato of a computer.
I was gonna say, girl, hit me up. I'll play with you. But never mind. I play on PC, not PS. I tried PS4.
Your girl's a broke college student.
That's understandable. That's understandable. So
I was like, let's just do it.
So this is not an Overwatch podcast. You just have two Overwatch nerds talking about Overwatch, which happens a lot on Girlstreamer podcast because I'm a Blizzard fangirl. I'm gonna admit it. So what games are you excited about that are coming out soon?
The Last of Us 2. Give me that. Because here's the thing is I got into The Last of Us actually through my ex-boyfriend. He was like, oh my god, anytime I would get on and talk to him, he'd be like, hey, have you got The Last of Us yet? Hey,
I'm playing through that right now.
Oh,
it's really good. It's a good game.
Bless the gods, which are Naughty Dog. Bless them, because when The Last of Us came out, at first I was like, ugh, like, because it was when like zombies were a huge hype and whatnot, and I was like, oh,
that's exactly my reaction. I was like, I'm so sick of zombies.
Yeah, that was me, because I was like, oh no, man, we got dead and we got all this stuff, like, ugh. But he kept hounding me, so I got it for my birthday. I played through the entire game in 3 days. Okay, I sat and I just played it because that game is so good. Because what they do is they have extremely well written characters. They have one of my husbands, you know, playing Joel. You have him singing in it too. Bless. Troy Baker, man, and him in BioShock Infinite too, when he played Booker DeWitt, and there's a scene where he grabs a guitar and starts singing. I was a mess. You also have Ellie, who, because here's the thing, most most child things in video games suck and are garbage. Ellie is not. You actually invest into Ellie.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and that's one thing that you see throughout the game is you see Joel and Ellie's relationship mature, and you see them absolutely hate each other, but then they come together and they're like father and daughter. And I adore that relationship.
Well, and, you know, going through, I mean, and I'm not at the end of the game, obviously. I'm actually at the part where they just found the truck and are getting out.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting through that. But
Get a bat, melee everything. Not a clicker. Don't melee a clicker, but anything else, melee
clickers.
it, and then go after the clicker. I'm telling you, solid advice right there.
We'll keep that in mind. So, but you can see, I mean, it is, as, you know, a storyteller by trade, I can see where the relationship is going. It's really easy to see, but, it's well done because, I mean, they're going through some shit, man. They're going through the apocalypse. Of course they're going to they gotta deal with it somehow, and you can't go through shit like that and not come out friends on the other side. You just can't,
And what I like about it is that it's not just Joel and Ellie that you invest in. You invest in Tess. You invest in every single secondary character, and that is so hard to do in a game that is about 2 people, you know? And I love that because you invest in Bill and you invest in all of these people, and you're like, yeah, I understand this. And the humor in it too, it's like, it comes out of nowhere.
Yes.
Humor comes out of nowhere, you know, and there is no, I don't even like saying that there's a comic relief because there's really not. Joel and Ellie kind of switch off here and there about it. You know, it's one thing that, like, I've learned when I played that game is, number one, search everywhere because you'll get fantastic dialogue. You'll get little tidbits of stuff, which is great.
I've always been a searcher in a game, so I will take forever in one area, and people are like, "You're only this game's only 3 hours long." I'm like, 4 days later, I'm still in the same room searching that stuff, making sure I got everything.
That's so me. Because I want to.
I like to drag out games personally. I do. I don't like to finish games right away.
No, I like to take my time, because what's nice about it is, especially with that game, because you know there's the apocalypse that happens, but you find out so much about the people during the apocalypse.
I love the little stories and notes and stuff that they leave for people. It's like, oh, that's so sad, and they write the mental health well, like the way real people would probably react and respond in these situations. Not everybody is the same. Let's just gung-ho go do it. No, some people are scared shitless. Some people commit suicide because they don't want to deal with it, right? Like, these are things that actually would happen, but they do it very well, and they don't, like, throw stuff in your face when something happens, you know. It's a very good, it's a good game.
So good. And when I've been keeping my eye out on The Last of Us 2, like the instant it was released or that it was announced, I was like,
I was watching E3 with like Kinky and some other friends of ours, and all of them who have played The Last of Us, except for me and Kinky, because we haven't, are like,
oh, I was dying. One of my friends, he was sending me screenshots of him watching it. He was like, oh, Trouble! Like, because when the trailer first started, I was like, that kind of looks like The Last of Us. I was like, nah, I don't know. Second one. Then it says it, and I was like, okay. I'm very happy about this. Like, thank you. And what I like about it is that, you know, it was supposed to come out, I guess, like about a year ago. And they postponed it to, I think, now I don't even think it has a release date. I think it might be coming out next year. And they postponed it. And I was like, okay, that means that they know that this has to be just as good.
Yeah.
And that it has to live up to it. So that is one game very hyped for. Red Dead Redemption 2. I was super excited when I heard that was coming out.
And I'm okay with that delay because the gameplay footage that they came out with a couple weeks ago, it's like, you know what? Because I don't mind waiting on a game if you're going to delay it no more than a year. Once you've delayed a game for more than a year, it's probably not going to be worth being made.
Right.
Looking at you, Duke Nukem.
Puts a bad taste in my mouth. Oof, train wreck.
I didn't play it, but I watch people play it, and I have so many friends who played it, and they're like, this wasn't worth 10 years. It's like,
that's
most anything after 10 years is not worth it. I'm sorry to tell you that.
Except for Doom. Let me tell you, when Doom came out, it was the first game that I played all the way through on stream.
It was almost like a completely new game.
Oh, yeah. And that's one thing that I love about it, is that they took the essentials of what made Doom really great, and then they were like, here's something better. I was like, yes, like, and you know, they had like little tidbits of stuff that's from like the old game, which I loved too, because I was like, okay, because I used to watch my dad play it. Like, I
like the throwbacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you know, everyone was like, I don't really know. And then Doom Eternal, let me tell you, good job. Give me Doom Eternal, although I'm pretty sure it's going to cause me to have a mental breakdown, because the first one did. But it's fine. I'll get it. I'll stream it. We'll cry together.
I actually, yeah, I watched, who did I watch? I watched one of the Girlstreamers play through that game, and it is such a good upgrade to what Doom started out as. Like, it is a completely different game. It's the same franchise, but it is, and for all intents and purposes, it's its own game. It really is. It's well done. It was well put together. I really enjoyed it. So good.
And that's one thing I was just like, good job. That's how you make a game. That's how you make a game. It's good.
That's true, Silver Hydra. BioShock Infinite was a 3-year delay, and it supposedly was a really good... Was it good or not? I don't know. I haven't played the BioShock franchise yet. Okay.
Oh, girl. You're killing me.
And look, it is on my wish list, okay? It's on my wish list.
Let me tell you, you'll play the first one, you're like, yes! And then you play the second one, you're like, okay. And then you play the third one, and you're like, good job.
You know they're coming out with... there's rumors they're coming out with another BioShock, right?
Yeah, but that's from 2K, and 2K took BioShock 2 and was like, we're gonna make BioShock 2, even though Ken Levine was like,
okay.
BioShock 2 came out. BioShock 2, it made everything kind of better. With the graphics were better, combat was better, smoother. You got to play as a Big Daddy, but not the one everyone else wanted you to play. But you didn't really invest in the characters or anything like that. So when I heard that they were coming out with the second one, that there were rumors, I was like, or when they were coming out with the new one, I was like, please don't. It ended solid. It came out really good. Like, please don't. Or if you do, say, hey, Ken, come here and work your magic, please. Because this is his brainchild. You play System Shock and System Shock 2, which came out like way in the 90s, you know, and those games, you can see the combat and all that kind of stuff. You can see how it's similar to BioShock and how he implemented stuff into BioShock. And I was like, good job. That's what we need. We don't need 2K sitting there and going, how are we going to make money? Because obviously we're not making money on some of the other games we've released. BioShock. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So, this is the moment in which I'm going to take things in a little bit seriously. Gonna get away from the game talk. You ready for this? Who inspires you to be the woman you are today?
Ooh. I just had like 15 people pop into my head. Top 3, honestly, is my mom, my sister, and my best friend. Like, because my mom is a hard-working lady, and I got my work ethic through her. My sister, because, like, she is my best friend. Like, my sister and I are extremely close. Like, everything I do is with her. Like, we go places together. She is my pride and joy. And she taught me how to be, like, more mindful of people.
Mm-hmm.
And my best friend, like, how she and I met too is like the craziest thing. We met online, of all places, on a writing website.
Nice.
And at first I hated her. I was like, I thought she was the worst person ever. But lo and behold, 7, almost 8 years later, here we are. I talk to her every day. I call her. We talk to each other, and she is like my foundation. Like, when I'm having a bad mental health day, when I'm having a day where I feel like I suck, or if I'm down about streaming, or if I'm down about myself, I just talk to her, and she's like, it's okay. Like, you're doing good, keep going. These 3 women, like, I don't think they know how much they mean to me and how much they've, like, made me who I am. Because honestly, if I didn't have these 3 women in my life, Lord above, I don't know what I would be doing. I would be left side of the loony bin, holed up in a corner crying every day. Like, is kind of where I would be. So
that's
these
awesome.
People, yeah.
Best friends are my. We met in college. She's no longer here, but I didn't want to be her friend at first either. She kind of like kept staying around, and I'm like, all right, fine. Best person to ever exist in my entire life, hands down.
Yeah, that's how I feel about her. Like, we had a period, and I talked to you. I told you about it in the pre-show. Is she went on a mission.
Yeah,
and she was gone for 2 years. That was the hardest, because you go from talking to somebody every single day, and all of that, to like barely talking, and it sucked.
Yeah,
it sucked for her, it sucked for me. She was just in Irvine. I could have driven to go see her, but because of everything that was going on and what she was doing mission work for, like, I couldn't go and just see her. It really sucked. But when she came back, I was so excited, but I was so nervous to like message her, and I was like, I don't know, is she gonna be like crazy? Is she not gonna want to talk
now?
Yeah, I was so scared. But then, like, once I started talking to her and worked through stuff with her, she's the same goofy nerd that nerds out about dinosaurs and wants to just talk about dinosaurs all day.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
It's good. Like, she's the yin to my yang is kind of how I talk about it. She's more quiet and kind of like she's more scientific about stuff and very like analytical, where I'm just kind of like, let's do whatever.
You're the creative, free-flowing one.
Yeah, that she is too. Like, she paints and stuff, but we kind of just feed off of each other's energy, and I'm very, very grateful to have her in my life. Like,
that's awesome.
I'll start crying. So, but I'm very grateful to have her. So,
so what do you like what do you like about being a part of Girlstreamers?
Girls supporting girls. That is the number one thing. What I also like is that, because when I heard about Girlstreamers, I was like, man, like, okay, maybe I want to get into it. Maybe I don't. I don't really, like, the community's huge. I was like, I don't really know how to like talk to. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll do it. And once I came in, like, I was on fire. Like, I love it so much. Like, even if I'm not active every day, like, I can still, pop in and be like, hey, how are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Girls supporting girls, like, we're there for each other.
Even it's in the tagline.
Right.
Encourage, support, grow.
But that's true. It's legitimately true. That's what we're there for. We're there to support each other in the good times and the bad times. There's times where if I'm having just a really crappy day, I go on Bend and Ear and I just freaking rant and I get everything out, and then people are like, man, that sucks. Like, yeah, it does. And then I can pop into just us talking, and I can talk about whatever I want, and we all come from different backgrounds. We come from different places around the world. It literally girls supporting girls, and I'm so thankful to be in a community where it's not toxic of girls supporting girls. It is so refreshing, especially in streaming world. It's just it's so nice. I love it.
I totally agree with all of that. That is one of my favorite questions and every person who's on the podcast. And it's a simple one, but I like to know what it is that you, because this feedback for us, because I am one of management. So, but, you know, I agree with all of it. You don't know this story, but they've heard this 1,000 times, so I'm going to tell you this story. Y'all can just, like, zone out. When Dad first approached everybody, it started on Twitter. So, she reached out to me under the Girlstreamers Twitter, and I thought it was some weird porn thing. And I was like, thanks, but no thanks. I appreciate the, you know, confidence and everything, you know, I really appreciate it. And she's like, oh, no, that's not what I mean. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure, why not?
You're like, oh,
this is completely different. Okay, I'm okay with that, because, like, I'm not streaming that way. I'm not I totally thought it was a cam girl thing. That was my initial reaction. Okay. And when people think girls and streamers, when you add those two words together, that is the first thing that pops up. We should change that.
Yes.
We're changing that. We are changing that.
And I think that's the nice thing about this community is it's actual girls that stream. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because here's the thing is there's a huge stereotype over girl gamers and girl streamers. You know, we're all titty streamers. You know, we all sit here and do squats to get money. You know, like, that's one thing that I'm so happy about what we stand for is no, this is ta-da, here are girls who actually do what we say we're gonna do.
Here's another choice of things to watch.
Right, like, all we want to do is just sit, play video games, and, you know, sit and talk to people. Like, that's all we want to do. And that's something that I'm such a big, like, advocate for, and I'm such a huge fan of. And that's why especially when I meet girls who are like, yeah, I've been looking at getting into streaming and all that, I'm like, get on to Girlstreamers, go talk to them, like, join the community, join us. We want to help you. We want to support you. Even though I don't have I don't have a management position. I don't even have a position anywhere. I'm like, I just
You're a girl streamer, that's your position. That's
right.
an important I don't think you understand how important that is. The most important position. Like,
right.
Anything that we do on management, that's business stuff. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody gives a crap about that. Our favorite thing to do as managers is the exact same thing you do, which is supporting each other. That's our favorite thing. And that's what keeps our management team going, because that's what we care about the most. And that is the premise and base of every decision that we make for the community. So, the girl streamer position is literally the most important position. And without it, we wouldn't have the community itself. And the fact that you gals care so much about each other to want to just naturally, because we don't even force you. Like, you can come in and never talk. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. If that's how you want to do it and you just want to fly the flag, you know what? We love you too, baby. But if you want to get in and be like, look, I'm going to get to Galaxy Girl status in 2 days because I want to start doing reviews with you guys and I want to get on the stream team. It's going to be like, okay, all right, honey, slow down. But that's cool. I like your initiative. I like your aspirations. This is good.
And that was me. The instant I got in, I was, oh, there's a Galaxy Girl thing? How do you do that? Oh, wait, come on, let's do it. And so I was like, but, like, the thing is that I genuinely do like talking to people. And that's one thing that I really like is that you can take either kind of thing. You could be semi-active, you know, and you don't even have to go the full way to become a Galaxy Girl. You know, you could just chill and just be like, oh, I'm just gonna kind of float. I'm just gonna be here, just kind of watch stuff, just kind of listen, see what's going on, you know. And girls supporting girls, like, give me more of that. Give me all people supporting girls. Thank you very much. Like, because here's the thing is, when girls can support girls, that means anybody can support girls, and that means anybody can be down for it and be like, you know what, I want to support females. I want to support girls in this industry. And it's hard for girls in this industry. It's so hard.
And it's worse if you are a minority female.
Oh, yes.
Like, you know, just being a girl in general, or being, being someone who identifies as a girl, shit sucks. Adding anything on top of that just makes it even harder.
Oh, yeah. And that's one thing that I don't think people understand is how hard it is to do anything. Like, especially in an entertainment. Basically, I don't know why
it's entertainment.
It's entertainment industry. Like, people want you to look a certain way. They want you to talk a certain way. They want
definitely.
You to be a certain way. And I am one of those where I see that and I'm like, I'm going to be the complete opposite, because screw your standards, buddy. Like, I'm
fat and I'm happy and I don't have a problem.
I am content with my life. Let me be content. You know, so that's one thing that I really like, is that we all just support each other. And I love it. So good.
So what keeps you so passionate about gaming and the community in general?
I think it's that whole thing about not sticking to a stereotype, breaking it, and being a part of a community where slowly but surely is opening up to welcoming females into it. Playing, honestly, like I said, all I want to do is just want to sit and play video games and talk to people, and that's what streaming is. That's bare bones. That's what it is. And I could talk for hours, which is why I was like, this is perfect. I could sit here and play something I really want to play and just talk.
I was talking, this will be on next week's podcast, which is a pre-recorded podcast. Shanbot was originally scheduled for last week because of drag, because your podcast, if you look at how the schedule plays out, at the every 2 weeks, your podcast should have actually landed next weekend. Next weekend is DragonCon, so I had to put yours on an alternate date. So we would have had 2 podcasts in a row. Right. And unfortunately, I had some shoulder issues last Sunday, so I had to cancel it. So I had to I pre-recorded her podcast, and we were talking about this similarly, but in regards to like extrovert versus introvert. But one of the things that we talk about, which I don't want to go into too much detail because that hasn't come out yet, but like, you're in a safe space here. You're in your own home. So if you need to turn off the computer, you can just turn off the computer if like chat gets too toxic or whatever. Like, you truly and utterly have full control over the conversation in your own channel and your own stream. And to me, that is such a massive draw to streaming and the content creating side of the entertainment industry, because the only people who has control over what we see in magazines are the people who do the magazines.
Yes.
The only people who have control over the movies are, I'm sorry, but Jewish white men in Hollywood. Because that's Hollywood. That's all that's in Hollywood.
Yep.
It's the Weinsteins are the ones who control Hollywood. So, we don't have any input into that, but we do with game. The video game industry also is way more accessible than the film industry. Like, if we don't like a game and we put out a review and say, look, I don't appreciate this. Like, we have game developers in our Discord. One of them is Viral Games. And they did this absolutely adorable game called The Void Rains Upon Your Heart. And it came out for Valentine's Day. It is a lot similar to Cuphead, where it's, just the shoot 'em kind of game. I had some comments about some of the stuff in it. They went in and they made those adjustments that I mentioned, because they're like, oh, you make a very valid point. And I was like, I made a change to a game. This is the weirdest thing that I have ever experienced. They are such an awesome, it's so cool that you actually have that access and that input, not just by streaming, but deliberately with the developers, even the bigger developers like Blizzard and Bethesda and stuff. Like, they actually take into account the people they're making the games for the most part, unless they're EA, and then, you know, they don't care.
EA is just like the toxic side, and we just kind of kick them to the side, and we're like, okay, you go over there. I mean, and that's the thing is, I'm a huge advocate for everybody feeling okay and everybody feeling welcome to whatever you want to do. If you want to stream, even if you just want to be a viewer, you are more than welcome to do whatever you want. And when you talked about, you know, Hollywood, like, being controlled, I could go on for days about this, because people don't understand, you know, people don't want to talk about that. When you look at, I talked about it actually in Girlstreamers for a little bit, is the Indigenous people and talking about the Indigenous actors.
Oh, yeah, I remember that conversation.
Oh, girl, I could go on for days about it, because the thing is people don't understand. Indigenous people get shoved to the side.
Oh,
every single time. And if they are on camera, they are being the stereotype that we want of Indigenous people. Like, I could sit here and I could say, hey, look, my family, I have family that live over here. I have family that are Indigenous, but people look at me and they go, you're not Indigenous because you're white. It's like, no, you are taken in by what Hollywood says is Indigenous. We are multiple colors, multiple things.
So I saw this thing on Facebook recently, and it's a small, like, 17-minute short documentary, and it's about how and it's all these mixed Native Indigenous people of America. And they talk about how, you know, that is literally the only race that calculates your blood, and you have to calculate your percentage of your worth.
Oh, girl.
If you are mixed, like, Black Hispanic, you're Black Hispanic, right?
Right.
If you're mixed Black Caucasian or African Caucasian, you're African Caucasian. You know, like, no one cares. They just accept you as whatever you choose. Like, do you want to be, like, more into your this side or this side? And, like, if you look at America's makeup, period, there is no, unless they're second generation, every single person in America is mixed. Because, like, I have Indigenous blood in me, and it's like 1/16 or 1/8 or something like that. I don't know. I used to know the calculations, but I didn't think about it until I saw that, and I was like, you're right. I should still consider myself, because my uncle, if you look at my uncle, you can tell.
That's how my family is. Yep, that's how my family is. I always...
You look at my mom, and she's like, and they're brother, sister. They are brother and sister, but he has the dark, beautiful skin, well, it's gray now, you know, it's white now, he's in his 50s, but when he was younger, gorgeous, full, beautiful, pitch black hair. I mean, just gorgeous. The man's he's a good looking guy. You can tell that he is Native. You can tell. Right. But my mom looks like, you know, pasty, looks like me.
White girl, right?
Like,
that's the thing. People don't understand that, because here's the thing is, my family belongs to the Choctaw tribe and the Cherokee tribe and the Ponca tribe, right? Ponca's smaller in Oklahoma, but Cherokee's big, and so Choctaw. Here's the thing is, there are so many white people that are like, I am a Cherokee princess. My grandma.
Oh God, yes.
But here's the thing is, when you genuinely, and I always tell people, if you genuinely care, you will be an advocate, and you will learn everything. Like, for instance, right now I'm taking Chahata, which is the Choctaw language. I'm taking those things. I'm learning.
That's cool.
The native tongue. learning these things. It is available for you. You don't have to be native to go learn. Like my tribe, one thing that I love about it, like I'm not enrolled. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm enrolled because I'm not enrolled. My family registered as white to protect their children from the residential schools. How sad, number one, is that they had to do that?
I think that's pathetic that our government forces, although this is, I don't want to get too political, but yes, right. I agree.
And it was just such a dumb thing. And there's so much hurt.
A lot of Indigenous have to do that if they want a good education too, which is a sad thing.
And the thing is that I've actually, because I'm doing psychology and theater, I want to do therapy, which is using theater as a type of therapy to help people.
Yeah.
And I want to do it for Indigenous people, and also veterans, because both need it. These are the two people in this country that don't have a voice. My father's a veteran. I work with veterans every day. Like,
they're also two of the highest suicide rates.
Yes.
In this country.
Yes,
a lot of people don't realize that, but Indigenous in this country has one of the highest suicide rates.
Yes.
Outside of
the highest.
I think white men have the highest, but that's only because there's more of them. So
right.
Like
and I mean, they're higher than any other ethnicity, and that's the thing. People don't care. People don't want to look at this stuff. When all that crap was going on with Standing Rock, people are like, "Yeah, we stand with Standing Rock. Where are you guys at today? Not here."
Yeah, they're still drilling through that. Like they lost that, and people don't understand they lost that. They lost that, guys. Just FYI, they don't have that land anymore, and that is wrong. You are. I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go there.
It's fine. I get very emotional about it. It's just it affects me because I see people who are hurting. I see people. That's one thing, is that people want to be like, oh well, you're black, oh well, you're white, oh well, you're Hispanic, oh well, you're this and you're that, and it's like, yes, but at the same time, we're people.
It doesn't define you just because the color of your skin, your history.
Yeah, and people also look at Indigenous cultures and they go, oh, well, they get casino money, or oh, well, they get this. Oh, who gives a flying F if
that's the only way they can make money.
Yeah, for real. I'm like,
do people
understand what's going on? Like, like I said, I could go on for days about this, but it's something that I'm very, very, very passionate about, and is something I'm a huge advocate for. But you're completely right. You know, people in power control what we see, and you see, like I said, you see Indigenous people, and they're the stereotype of Indigenous. For instance, take it's my favorite movie and favorite book. I own like 10 copies of that book. It's a
beautiful, well-made movie.
However, compared to the book, because they didn't base it on the book, they based off the 1920s film, but the stereotypes that go on in there kind of frustrating. But at the same time, it is a very well-made movie. It is a movie that hasn't really, but it is a very, very good movie. If you guys want to watch a really good Indigenous, that has a lot of Indigenous people, that one. Smoke Signals is also a good one. But the thing is that when you watch those films, you're like, this is what I wanted to see. I didn't want to go see people running around in war bonnets, shoving sticks and whatnot. Like, that's not what I want to see. I want to see legitimate
representation. Representation matters. Period. Mm-hmm. Representation matters. So getting back to what we were talking about, that's why the gaming industry is so cool, because especially those indie game developers, they do listen. Right. Even some of the bigger ones do listen. I mean, we are slowly starting to get more female protagonists. It's slow, but it's finally starting, and it's finally changing.
Right. We're finally starting to see the differences, and I'm here for it. So, your girl's here for it.
So what's the greatest challenge or obstacle that you have had to overcome in your life so far?
Greatest challenge? Oof. Oh my goodness. I had something kind of like in my brain. I think the greatest challenge I had to fight. Oh my god. loaded question. Honestly, I think it would have to be like. So actually, here's a good one. I worked at a place called a vet center. Vet centers are free counseling for veterans. I work at one here in Knoxville. Most big cities have them, and it's free counseling for combat veterans, and we'll also do non-combat for sessions. So, in case you were wondering, but I had this boss, and he was a jerk, and he was extremely rude to me, and he was very kind of sexist and not very nice. I hate that term, but
not
that
overtly,
what it
but
is.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it was sprinkled in there. He also didn't like that I was the youngest one that was working in the office. I wasn't a veteran, all of that. And there was a lot of stuff that happened that I felt like I was in such a toxic place. And every time I would be sitting there, I hated it. I hated being there.
Jesus.
And my coworkers hated it too, because he was a jerk. And like, anytime he was around, people always had to sit up and be like, yes, sir, no, sir. He ran it like being in the military. And I was like, we're not in the military anymore. And I had to learn.
That's part of the reason why vets need mental help when they get out.
Well, and a lot of that has to do with the system, but yeah.
Oh, definitely.
That's kind of the thing is, we were just like, okay, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, well, what do I do? And I had to learn how to stand my ground when it came to people of authority. Because I used to be a kid that would sit there and anytime somebody would say something, I'd be like, okay, whatever. Like, even though you're kind of treating me crappy, I'm not going to go say anything because whatever. But I had to stand my ground against him, and I had to,
Well, because you're taught to be seen and not heard.
Yeah. And so I was like, I'm not going to do this lying down. I'm going to stand up for myself, and I'm going to fight. And that's what I did. And he ended up leaving on his own terms. But he ended up leaving. And it was kind of one of those things that I was really proud because I was like, I stood up for myself. Not only did I stand up for myself, but I also stood up for like my generation, because there's a bunch of not nice people in my generation, but we have hard workers, and we have people who aren't typical millennials. We have people who genuinely care and want to do.
I hate the term millennial, and here's why I hate the term millennial. There's no definition of what an actual millennial is. Mm-hmm. And every generation has its version of slackers.
Right.
I'm sorry. Every generation has its version of slackers. Mm-hmm. They do. So let's stop saying kids those days and actually say, hey, what is it that you do want? How can we work together?
Right.
Like, yeah, I despise the term millennials because it is so... It's so negative. It is such a negative term. Yeah. Such a negative term. Like, I cringe when people say you're technically a millennial, and I'm like, millennials are people who were born in the 90s to, like, early 2000s, in my opinion.
Me.
Like, I was born in the 80s. I'm not a millennial, but apparently I'm in that gray area where there's crossover of the generations. But, like, how about we just stop calling the generations, like, Generation X, Generation Y, and start calling people. Like,
right. And the thing is that, like, I felt really proud being able to stand up and be like, no, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I played it by the system, and the system actually worked. So, go system. I actually did a good thing for once. So.
So we are, man, this conversation has been so good, but I do want to get to podcast Q&A. So we're going to go through a couple of questions really fast. So what trait are you most proud of?
My kindness. I'm very kind.
What's your greatest insecurity?
My, wait, physically or mentally? Oh, God.
Whatever.
Probably, honestly, actually, it's the fact that I need to fix people. I have that need to fix, which is why I'm going into psychology. Like,
that, yeah.
It's my need to fix people.
Yeah,
I think this thing.
So, have you ever been trolled?
Yes.
I mean,
many
very
times.
rarely do I interview people who say no. Most
Yeah,
people
I've
have been trolled.
Been
What
trolled, but I
advice?
get good people.
What advice do you have for new people getting into streaming?
Just do it. Don't think about it. Just I don't care. Like here's
Like Nike, just do it.
for real. Like that is my slogan. Like just do it. Like even if you're sitting like I got into streaming despite my ex-boyfriend telling me I wouldn't be good. Telling me I wasn't good enough. And even if people tell you you're not good enough, use that as motivation to turn around and like be like, I'm doing anything better. Like I'm gonna do it better.
I've always been very defiant when people tell me I can't do something.
Me. Yep.
Always.
Me.
I
all
feel
the
like
time.
you're a younger version of me after
Probably.
this conversation. So, 3 more questions. By the way, if you guys have a question you want to ask, just remember to type !podcast in the Twitch channel, and you guys can ask your questions. We've got a couple already, and they're good ones, so I want to get to those. What's an ideal weekend for you?
Sleeping and just like being in PJs all day.
I mean, that's
just good day. Good day.
So, what are you most thankful for?
My family, my friends, and Jesus. If I didn't have those 3, I'd be gone. I wouldn't be here.
So what is your strongest passion outside of streaming?
Being an advocate for people who don't have a voice.
It's awesome. I love it. I love it. So we skipped a lot of questions that I normally ask people, but it's only because you had really good, your conversation was good. So sometimes you just gotta skip questions. So, all right. So we've actually got some interesting questions from Jack B. How would you compare a guy and girl's streamer position? Like the biggest differences in how people react to the same content from a different gender?
You know what? Again, I actually addressed this in a stream of mine a while ago, which is the fact that for men, oh man. Okay. Here's how I think people view female streamers. People view female streamers as, okay, I'm gonna click and I'm gonna watch her content, right? So let's say I'm a dude and I'm like, watch whatever. Males watch female streamers to see, oh, are they wearing like a low cut shirt? Are they, being titties?
And I know a lot of people are gonna go, not all guys.
Right.
These are generalized statements.
Right. Yeah, no, my guy friends aren't this way. Like, my guy friends are not even near this way. But some guys I have met think this way, which is they look, okay, what is she doing? Like, is she being provocative in a certain way? Can I do certain things?
Is she fat material, essentially?
Yeah, basically. Like, can I look at her and be like, yeah, like I'm gonna say these things to her, I'm gonna do whatever. For guys do have to deal with trolling to a certain extent, and I will completely agree to that. There is some females who are just gross and think, oh, maybe I can say these things, maybe I can slide into his DMs, maybe he'll do these things. But for men, I think a lot of their content, like a guy could just sit here, stream, have a camera up, and it be completely fine. For instance, another good friend of mine started streaming, and all he does is he streams League, and he flew. Like he got affiliate, I think, within like a couple of, I can't remember if he said like a couple of weeks or a couple of months of him streaming, where it took me almost a year to get affiliate. And I'm like, like that sucks because I was doing almost the same thing. But okay,
he's a dude. Well, first off, I can tell you why. He's a dude who plays an extremely toxic game, and the people who follow, not saying he's toxic, but the community of League, which you know as well as I know, are basically 4chan and Redditors. So
yeah, the
trolls that follow fellow trolls, and yes, because he plays a troll game, I think so. What I think the difference is, dudes get harassed, but in a different form and fashion. Dude trolls are not at all the same as girl trolls. The thing with girls is, no matter what you're doing, it's never good enough because you're not fitting their ideal version of a female. And it's like, the thing is, it's like that in real life for us. Like, I get called a bitch all the time because I don't respond to someone telling me I have a fat ass, I have a nice ass, which I know I've got. I know what I look like. I know I've got a nice booty. I know that I'm not an ugly person. I know I'm a reasonably attractive person. But I don't need you to catcall me while I'm walking into the freaking grocery store. So online, those same guys come on. But not only do they say it once, they come back under alias names, because it's really easy to make new Twitch names, and continuously harass, and that's the difference.
Oh yeah,
that's the difference.
That's the thing. It is so frustrating too. I'm like, please don't. Like, don't be a scumbag. That's the thing. Don't be a jerk. How, like, I always tell people, especially on my streams too, and I talked about this when I can't even remember what was going on, but I talked about this. I said, if it was your mother streaming, what would you do? If you saw these people doing this to your mother or to your sister, how would you feel? You wouldn't like it very much. So put yourself in our position. You know,
they don't think in terms. People that are I want to say the career trolls don't think in those terms because they don't give a shit. They really don't.
Right.
So, and you know, I will say, like, Jack is chatting in chat. It's not one specific age. It's not 12-year-olds. It's not. No. But the bulk of them, like, in my history of 2.5 years of streaming, I have found in my research that there are Reddit channels or Reddit, whatever you call them on Reddit. Reddit forums and 4chan forums deliberately created to find and harass female streamers. That's all they're dedicated to. That's why I say it's 4chan Reddit type people. It's those people who deliberately are trying to be racist, misogynistic, homophobic, like all of those people who just want to hate, because in society you can't do that in real life. Like, you can't just continuously come in and harass, because you'll get arrested. You will get arrested. A cop will beat the shit out of you. Like, that's not gonna fly face to face. But you can be anonymous on the internet. Nobody's going to find out who you are, so you're going to keep coming back and do it over and over and over again. And because women are viewed as illegitimate. Women are viewed as a second character. We're not viewed as a real person. Just like Black Americans and African Americans are viewed. They're viewed even worse. I mean, damn, they were viewed as 3/4 of a person. It's as far as that goes, it's the same, but on a different scale as far as the oppression portion. Now, obviously, my Black female streamers it's even worse, because then you have the racial slurs added into that. So, it's significantly worse for females. And for men, they see a guy streaming and they see a guy gaming. It's like, oh yeah, he's legit. But a girl, because there's that false stereotype that girls are fake gamers. And that's not accurate.
Yes. That is my whole thing. I'm just like, my God, could you not? Thank you very much.
I think that what we just stated also answers his second question, was why are female streamers still a minority on Twitch? I mean, I think we just answered that particular question. Oh, yeah. And is it because of the trolls aimed at females, or do people enjoy content by males more? I don't think it's a matter of males make better content. In fact, I know females who make significantly better content than like the big content creators of Twitch, but because they're not your basic white boy, they're not going to get partnered. I'm sorry.
No, but it's true though. Like,
they're not the Jake Pauls and Logan Pauls and the ninjas, and they don't have that fresh face and that innocent look.
Right.
You know?
The thing is that, you know, it doesn't have to deal with the content. What it has to
Yes, I did see that you wrote it. He did write it in quotes of, you know, content, like it being better content. Yeah, like that. I can tell. Not. Yeah, I can tell you didn't mean it's better content. But the thing is, a lot of people do think that way, and it's not true. Like, now, I have conflicted feelings about Ninja currently, but I actually do enjoy his content. That's why I keep bringing it up, because I do like his Fortnite plays, and I've learned some better stuff about Fortnite, but I've learned recently other things about him that make me question his judgments a little bit, but he also is a 25-year-old kid. Well, I can't say kid because you're a grown-ass adult, but, you know, I'm not here to talk about that kind of thing. But he is the biggest content creator right now on Twitch. That's why I keep referring back to him. And it's like, there are actually people who create content that are better than him.
Yes.
But they don't they're not seen.
Right. It's so frustrating.
T. Fredrickson says, please run long. This is a good venting session. No, I like the questions that Jack asked. Like, he asked really good questions. Good and like, we don't get a lot of those questions on the podcast itself, because we do gear it towards, you know, you ladies and what it's what you guys want. But those are questions that I'm like, yes, I'm passionate about this too.
Yeah. Those are questions I get asked a lot, actually, from a lot of different people. So I'm really glad that that you asked those questions, because bless.
like
more.
they're great questions, and they're like, especially like, I had this discussion. My little brother and I have a very close relationship, just like you and your little sister. It's just the two of us, and we are two peas in a pod. Like, when my head is shaved, just imagine it blonde, and you got my brother without, like, this is my brother. Like, we could legit be twins. But we're 6 years apart, so we can't be. But he's in the military, and so there's a lot, there's some culture things there that I don't agree with. And we were up till 4 o'clock in the morning Saturday talking about stuff like this, and I'm like, because, you know, he's a basic white boy, and he's a pretty basic white boy, so he gets away with a lot of stuff. And I'm like, and because I'm a fat, semi-attractive white girl, I don't quite get away with as much because I'm fat.
Right.
So, you know, we were talking about this very thing, and so, like, I love having these questions asked, because it starts that discussion. It opens it up. And if you're willing to actually have that discussion with people and listen to somebody's side, you'll understand why they feel the way they feel more. And you'll, you know, I know a lot of people are talking about the white guilt thing. Good. If you feel guilty about the crap that happens to your fellow human beings, good. You should have that guilt. I do. I have that guilt, which is why I'm an advocate for my minority brothers and sisters. So, yeah. All right, sorry.
I think being, you know, throwing this out there, like, and not trying to be like, come watch me, but if people are genuinely interested in these type of topics, that I talk about these things on my stream, because I have this mindset of, if I can even start a small fire in somebody, and then that fire leads that person to go look up something or start researching stuff. Like I said, I am a huge advocate, especially for Indigenous people. Anybody wants to, like, talk about it, like, you know where to find me. Like, let me.
You and Dead Mannequin should get together, because she's First Nations in Canada, and she did some stuff on her stream recently talking about all the. I didn't realize how much crap they went through in Canada. Like, I barely scratched the surface of what Indigenous have gone through here. And like learning, I'm just like I'm in tears.
It's awful, and the thing is that the sad thing is that they feel like nobody cares and to listen, and that's not true. People are genuinely curious. However, we need to actually get that message out there and get these things out in the open and be able to have that conversation. You know, like I said, I've been interviewing people from First Nations in the United States and up in Canada. I have friends that live, people that are Abajue. I have people that are Cree who I've talked to. I've talked to so many people. They want to talk about it. You just have to listen, and you just have to be open to it. That's the thing, because they're gonna tell you things you don't want to hear. They're not gonna hide anything. They are hurt, and they are legitimate in their hurt. So just be open to it, you know. But I talk about a lot of hard things. That's kind of my jam. I like deep conversations, and especially on my stream, like I'll be playing something and then something will remind me of something that I go on this long thing about it, you know. But that's just because that's how it should be. Being able to talk about it, having a platform to not only just hang out, chill, play games, and talk about nonsense, but also talk about things that are important.
I can't tell you how many deep conversations like this I've had on my channel. Like, we will go from, we call ourselves the most dysfunctional squad on Twitch because we're all dysfunctional. It's a rather large, you know, a few group, just a couple of us that just kind of hit it off in Girlstreamers, and then a couple of others that have joined us outside of the community, and so we're like one big dysfunctional family, and we'll talk. Right. We literally will be talking about like sex and like the positions, how we did last night with our significant others, and then be like, oh, but do you know, I read that book, you know, 50 Shades of Grey, and they were talking about that position, and it's so screwed up, and like, we'll go into like kink culture and how the book is really bad for us in it. Like, it's a terrible book. Don't ever read it. If you read it, I'm sorry. Don't. It's terrible. It's bad.
They're awful.
It's terrible. It's, first off, it's poorly written. Whoever edited it, you should be fired.
Whoever wrote, like, the lady who wrote it, like, I'm a writer, and I read the books when I was in school, which I shouldn't have, but I did, and I wanted to die. I was like, what is this? So, don't do it. Don't watch the movies. Don't support it. And just in general, just don't support it.
It's poorly written fanfic. I mean, it's poorly written fanfic that just never went through the editing process. Anyway. And then we'll go off of something like that and get into like the politics of the day, right? Like, we just go through everything, and I one of my closest friends is in Australia. We have both very different views on American politics for legitimate reasons. It's a different culture, right? We have some of the best and deepest political discussions, and we both don't have the same opinions on things. And everybody that's in our chat, like, they love the conversations because it opens up that dialogue for compromise. It opens up that ability to learn and understand each other, and keeps you from staying in a mindset and becoming a closed off individual, because most people, by the time they're 30, they do kind of already have their, you know, their politics, their morality, you know, morals, ethics, everything by 30, but you still can change. People still change, right? Like, it happens.
Just changing. It's more of just being able to agree to disagree. Like, my politics are going to be different than yours in some cases. That, like, people are people, and that's what makes us so great, is we're all different and we're all unique, and we all have unique views on things, which is why I love talking about this crap, because I'm like, yeah, I don't agree with that, but I support that you do.
Right? Exactly.
Like, even though I don't think you're right, like, here's the reasons why I don't think you're right, but you know what? I'm not going to hate you because of it. I'm not going to sit here and say, by the way, just thought I'd let you know. You know, no. Like, we are in such a divided country right now of children that want to sit there and point fingers at the other side. And it's like, oh, well, it's their fault. Oh, well, it's their fault. It's like, no, why don't we just say, you know what? Don't necessarily agree with you, but cool. Like,
I think that's
they're going to be a little different.
I think, okay, so Jack asked a question, and we've got another question here on the Q&A, but I actually liked his statement because it's pertaining to what we just said. Does politics banter really do anything, though? If it's entertaining to talk about, then fine, but it's not going to change anything anyway. Okay, so, yes, there's a reason why, and here's why. You have to look at the big picture. The big picture, right? You know, you and I talking about, just take any specific... Take anything. 9/11. Us talking about 9/11 right here in this moment, not going to change anything. But tomorrow, I could be like, you know what? I had a really good conversation with my husband. I'll be like, hey, hubby, I had a really good conversation. Have you thought about this or this? And you'll go do that with your friends and family, right? Well, you know that 6 degrees of separation with Kevin Bacon, you know, the whole 6 degrees of separation. Everybody is associated with Kevin Bacon by 6 degrees or less, right? 2 for me, but, just saying. It filters, it moves, and then it moves up the chain. Like, I am married to an attorney. He has attorney friends. Attorneys make the laws in this country. We're very active in our local politics because that's where things are changed here, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what my political decisions are because that's not what this is. If you want to know where I stand, you can come to my personal channel and ask. But,
Same.
But, you know, if we happen to come across whoever we come across, I could take what you have said and be like, hey, have you thought about this? And then that could go and it filters and you get people talking about the same thing and that's how ideas work. It starts with a simple conversation. It starts with a simple discussion, and that's how laws are changed. So
not even laws, it's how people's mindsets are changed too. You know, being able, I mean, like I said, you know, for me, like, just talking about Indigenous rights and stuff, like, starting that little fire in somebody for them to go look up something to get more educated in a certain thing. And that's my whole goal. My goal is not to sit here and say, well, you're wrong. My goal is to be like, you know what? I see where you're coming from. This is where I'm at. Have you thought about this?
Right.
And then go on from there. And that's it. And if it does something, and if it doesn't, you might not know and you might not see, but that seed was planted. And so now you just let it go, you know?
You know what? I'll give you an example on a very small scale. All right. DragonCon is an extremely large convention. It is 85,000 people or more. It is the second largest convention in the nation. Gen Con and DragonCon fight for the second place. After San Diego Comic-Con, of course. People were talking to us about some issues that they were having at DragonCon. Won't go into details. But, you know, just randomly talking to people on the street, like, oh yeah, I love it, but I struggle with this. I'm like, yeah, you know, I've had issues with this as well, da-da-da-da, just listening. And I'm like, you know what? They made a very valid point. I know people who work the convention. I'm talking to volunteers. I'm talking to friends or whatever. Then we get in touch with, then they actually, the next year, the changes that we suggested to those people from the people that talk to us, it is on a small scale, but they were implemented. Just by a conversation that started in a fucking line. Literally. You have no idea what kind of impact you can make on this world if you are open and willing to do it. And willing to just, you don't have to be active. you can just be willing to listen to somebody.
And that's the end of it, is that's what you have to do. And it, you know, like I said about, and I keep talking about Indigenous stuff, that's just because that's
because that's your passion there.
And it's just something that I think about, because it's just like I said, if you are willing to listen, people will talk.
Yeah.
You just have to be, and that's about anything. I mean, hell, like when I'm at work and I'm just sitting and I'm talking to a veteran, I have gotten into super deep conversations with veterans about, not even just about war, but about just other, I mean, Vietnam veterans are the most interesting people on the face of the planet, because they're super grumpy for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
But if you just talk to them, like, and you just say, hey, you know what, thank you so much for your service, I'm very grateful that you did this. That little bit in there, just, it changes everything. Like, I always talk, you know, when a light is shined in the darkness, that darkness leaves. Yeah. It's gone. You know, and even if it's something so small, you know, like I said, you might not even see the changes. You might not even see things, but you put something into motion. Yeah. Just by saying something. So, you know,
just by being kind. Being a
kind person. Just be nice. Even if you don't like the person, be nice to them, because $20 says it's gonna piss them off. So be nice to people. It's the best. Like, just being genuinely nice and being like, you know what, even though I don't agree with you, you're okay. Kind of a deal.
Yeah, exactly. So last question, because this has been great. Thank you again, Jack. You very good conversations.
I know.
Coming from that. Great. I really like it. I mean, I get on, because, I mean, it's that argument of my vote doesn't count, right?
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, the way our voting works, yeah, it really doesn't. You literally have to have 100% for it to work properly. But it doesn't work properly. And I totally get it. But I also feel I still should try. You know what I mean? Because if I don't try,
still vote.
Yeah, if I don't try and make that change as far as the voting goes, like, then that's just one less. That's just me not actually attempting to make that particular kind of thing. But I know it's not quite the same, because it totally works in a different way. But you know,
it kind of is. I'm the same way. I have a friend of mine who refuses to vote. Like, look, we are lucky to live in a country where it doesn't cost anything to go and vote and put in your 2 cents. Do what you like.
I wish we would change our voting stuff, though, personally, because
understandable.
Like, it should be a national holiday, so that people can easily miss work, and you know what I mean. Like, just, but anyway,
I think, you know, I do agree with that. I think, but use your voice, even if you're a whisper. That whisper could get somebody else's attention.
Yeah. And
that's kind of how I feel with, you know, like I said, the whole Indigenous thing. I talk about it, and then people start thinking about it, and they're like, huh, I didn't think about that. You know, it slowly, that fire starts growing, and soon or later, you will see that fire grow. So that's my whole mindset on it. My philosophy.
I feel the same way. So Hydra asked, if you could be any type of bird, what would it be?
Oh,
dear God, make me a bird so I can fly far, far away.
Far away.
I'm sorry, that just made me think of, that's a great movie too, Forrest Gump. I haven't seen that in forever.
Oh my God, a bird?
I like that question. What would you be?
A red robin, honestly. I find them so beautiful. I saw one for the first time. I remember it too. My aunt and uncle have this huge, like, window of a wall. Like, it's just all windows. And they live, like, in the middle of Tennessee, or up at the tip of Tennessee. But they live in, like, in the middle of the woods. So I remember standing there, and I looked out, and there was, like, 3 of them. And my uncle, he's a bird watcher. And he was like, those are red robins. And I fell in love with him instantly. I would be a red robin, honestly, because they're gorgeous. And they can fly. Why would you be a bird that can't fly? So I want to be a red robin.
Right? Who wants to be an ostrich?
Those things are weird. They look weird. Like,
seriously, who wants to? I I like cardinals.
Ooh, those are pretty.
Yeah, I think my my grandmother used to watch. We put up this bird feeder outside of her window so she could watch the birds when she was eating breakfast, and there was this family of cardinals, and you knew it was a family because they came like all the time. And then when the chicks started leaving the nest, they got so fat. But they were so beautiful. They were so beautiful. So that's probably what I would be, is a cardinal. I think they're gorgeous.
They are beautiful.
Well, thank you so much. This has been a really fun podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So where and when can we find you streaming?
Well, follow my Twitter for that, because I am in college. It fluctuates. I don't have like a set schedule just yet. It gets, because some days I'm not feeling it. Although I think I'm going to stream tonight. I'm going to be streaming actually in about an hour. So if you feel so inclined to come watch me, I don't even know what I'm going to stream. I'm going to figure it out. Probably Overwatch. I can just kind of sit and talk and get used to it. Or I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll be a surprise. I don't wear
nice.
Figure it out.
That's awesome. I mean, you know, you said, are you actually graduating this year? Is this officially your last year, or do you know?
No, I have next year is my last year.
Okay, I took 8 years to get a bachelor's, so.
Girl, I'm double majoring, and I'm like, why did I do this? And they're huge majors, too. Y'all are ever thinking about double majoring, be careful. Because you might bite off more than you can chew. Because, dear Lord. Oh, it sucks sometimes, but I love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. This has been an absolute blast. I have had a great time. Thank you to all of you wonderful people who asked amazing questions on the podcast. Yes. This is normally a 2-hour podcast. We went over a little bit. So, but you know what? The conversation was good. So I can't help it. I believe we are going to raid after the stream, so stick around and we will do a raid. But first, let's do our closing. Girls, thank you so much for joining me. This has been a Girlstreamers podcast. You guys, thank you for listening. Girlstreamers is partnered with Loot Crate, Simple Jerky, UN Racing Chairs, Glom Tom, Sennheiser, and now affiliated with Humble Bundle. Links to all these amazing partners are down below, so please feel free to click. Thank you guys for all your support. Please follow us at Girlstreamers on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and Player.me. And don't forget, when you do follow us on Twitch, it is twitch.tv/Girlstreamers_INC. We changed our name. If you have any questions or would like more information, you can visit our website at girlstreamers.com and contact us through there. You can subscribe to us on Twitch or GameWist. Don't forget, when you do, you actually get access to our Discord, and you can chat with all these lovely ladies. And you can also buy some super cool gear in our online shop at designbyhumans.com/shop/Girlstreamers. We are currently featuring Sartsikorn. She won the t-shirt contest, and it is a lovely design, so you can go check that out and see all of our other designs. You can find TheRarest on Twitter at TheRarest3. That is TheRarest and the number 3. And on Twitch at twitch.tv/TheRarest3. That is TheRarest and the number 3. Our next podcast will be next Sunday, September 2nd, with Shambot right here, same time. Do not forget, it is a pre-recorded podcast, as I will be at DragonCon. This podcast is a part of the Two Lazy Dogs Media Group and the Girlstreamers community. Encourage, support, grow.